Welcome, tech enthusiasts and startup savants, to another episode of AI Frontiers where bits meet wit. I'm Mark, your guide through the digital jungle.
And I'm Tom, the Robin to Mark's Batman, if Batman were less brooding and more into neural networks.
Today, we're diving deep into the world of GenAI startups, where dreams are big, algorithms are complex, and funding rounds are, well, round. We're talking about mapping your core competencies and assets, or as I like to call it, finding your startup's superpower. All right, Tom, let's start with the basics. Imagine you're a GenAI startup founder, and you need to take a selfie of your company. But instead of duck faces and peace signs, you're capturing your core competencies and assets. What's in the frame?
Well, Mark, it's less about finding your best angle and more about showcasing your true strengths. We're talking technical expertise, domain knowledge, proprietary algorithms, data assets, infrastructure, and even your cool industry friends. Partnerships.
So it's like the corporate version of what's in my bag. But instead of lip gloss and car keys, we're pulling out neural networks and cloud computing skills. Exactly. And once you've laid out all these assets, it's time to organize them. That's where Wardley Mapping comes in. It's like Marie Kondo for your startup strategy.
Does it spark joy, Tom? Does this machine learning model spark joy?
If it's boosting your accuracy by 10%, it better. But seriously, Wardley Mapping helps you visualize how your assets relate to each other and where they sit on the evolution axis. It's like plotting your startup's family tree, but with less drama and more strategic insight. Now, Tom, I've heard that many startups tend to, how do I put this delicately, overestimate their uniqueness. It's like every parent thinking their kid is the next Einstein.
Oh, absolutely. It's the startup equivalent of, my dog is the cutest. But in the GenAI space, you need to be brutally honest. It's not about having the cutest algorithm, it's about having one that actually solves problems.
Right, so it's time for some tough love. Founders need to look in the mirror and ask, is my natural language processing really all that natural, or am I just talking to myself? Exactly, Mark. And remember, in the world of GenAI, today's groundbreaking innovation is tomorrow's Hello World program. You've got to keep evolving.
So, it's like being in a never-ending game of leapfrog with other startups and tech giants. Sounds exhausting.
It is, but it's also exhilarating. Think of it as the Startup Olympics. You're constantly training, improving, and hoping you don't pull a hamstring or run out of funding. All right, Tom, let's dive into this Wardley map we've got here. It looks like a cross between a treasure map and a game of Battleship. What insights can we glean from this visual feast?
Well, Mark, this map is telling us quite a story. Our hypothetical GenAI startup seems to be sitting pretty in some areas, but there's room for improvement in others. Let's break it down.
I'm all ears. And eyes, I suppose, since we're looking at a map.
First off, we can see that our startup has a strong foundation in technical expertise and domain knowledge. That's like having a solid pair of running shoes in our Startup Olympics analogy.
So they're not just all talk and no trousers in the AI department?
Exactly. But here's where it gets interesting. Their proprietary algorithms and data assets are positioned as custom-built components. That's good for differentiation, but it also means they need to keep innovating to stay ahead.
So, it's like they've built a cool treehouse, but now they need to keep adding awesome features to stop the neighbor kids from building a better one?
That's surprisingly accurate, Mark. Now, looking at the evolution axis, we can see that some elements, like basic infrastructure, are moving towards commodity. That's normal, but it means our startup needs to focus on where they can add unique value.
I see. So they shouldn't be spending all their time reinventing the wheel when they could be inventing the hoverboard?
Precisely. The map also suggests that forming strategic partnerships could be a game changer for them. It's like finding the perfect dance partner for the startup tango.
Ooh, I love a good tango. So what's the big takeaway from this map for our GenAI startup friends?
The key is balance and forward thinking. They need to keep one eye on their current strengths and another on emerging technologies. It's like playing chess while riding a unicycle. Challenging, but if you pull it off, You'll be the talk of the town.
Or the talk of Silicon Valley, at least. Thanks for that illuminating analysis, Tom. I feel like I've just had a crash course in startup cartography. Well, folks, we've navigated the treacherous waters of startup self-assessment, dodged the siren call of overconfidence, and mapped our way through the ever-shifting landscape of GenAI. Remember, in the world of startups, knowing yourself is half the battle. The other half is convincing investors you're the next big thing.
Indeed, Mark. We've learned that success in the GenAI startup world is about more than just having a clever algorithm. It's about understanding your place in the ecosystem, continuously evolving, and maybe, just maybe, finding that perfect blend of technical brilliance and market need that makes VCs weak in the knees.
So, dear listeners, go forth and map your competencies, chart your assets, and may your startup journey be as smooth as a well-trained language model. And remember, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review, preferably one generated by your own proprietary AI algorithm. Until next time, this is Mark.
And Tom?
Signing off from AI Frontiers, where bits meet wit. Stay curious, stay innovative, and may your coffee be as strong as your neural networks.